This conference will now be recorded.
Let's call the meeting to order. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I don't think so. We'll see.
Okay.
But as of now, no.
Has it ready?
Is there a motion to
Move to
approve the
approve.
agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Meeting minutes from December 20th. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I can vote in favor, correct?
Yes, I asked Matt about that because I thought this whole time I've been on council that he couldn't vote.
Yes.
But then he pipes up all out of the blue and says,
You can. Okay.
Where have you been, right? Where have you been? Okay. I didn't know that either. I thought that you guys could.
no, I've always thought
I
that.
like how he just randomly pulls it out of
He
the
just,
cap.
you know, he never says anything and I says, well, actually. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know.
Are there any opposed? Motion's passed. Monthly financial reports and accounts payable. Anything we need to know there, Kurt?
I don't think so. Just remember, you're looking at pretty much for the EDA's 403 is the money that we have. Kim did say there will be more money put in there in the next week or two. And 404 is the revolving loan fund account, which we use. But the 403 is our account to use for whatever we would like to use it for.
I'll make a motion, we approve the December 31st monthly cash sheet.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. No public hearings. Old business. KAAL advertising.
Yeah, so we come to, I did hear from Brandon McElroy. If you remember, he presented to us in KAL about their advertising campaign. And just a reminder, what it was $1,000 per month for 6 months. This is something new that KAL is starting. And so we are one of their communities they've come to start. Albert Lee said yes. Manorville's looking to possibly do this, but they're looking for grant money. I did ask businesses that are interested. He would not be specific. There were 3 to 4 businesses in the city that were interested in the campaign so far. I guess what I'm asking from EDA is a vote whether, yes, we continue to look at KAL to do this advertising campaign, or we just go a different route with advertising and look for something else, such as Zeba's interested in a billboard advertising that way, something else in the future.
Really, do we want to save our money to put towards the billboard or do this?
Or do this, correct. And if you remember, there were multiple venues that it wouldn't just be TV, it would be a variety of venues. It's stages that the advertising is on. It's I get
The internet ads and,
yeah.
TV, internet. Streaming, yeah.
And it gives them an opportunity. I think if we say yes, he and his fellow salesmen would scour the city for people to try to get businesses to join on. That wouldn't change our cost at all on it. But if we said no, then we just move on. So I guess what I'm asking is, what should I say to Brandon next time I talk to him?
It's not my favorite idea, but
Yeah, I thought
I don't know.
we had asked if he could get the businesses signed up and then we would consider it.
Right, yeah. I
But
think,
he doesn't, he says there's 3 or 4 interested, but nobody is.
isn't it specific what the 3 to 4 were? No. And I don't know how much he's worked in Zumbrota on it. I mean, we spoke to him, geez Louise, October maybe? And I haven't heard from him. I contacted him, asking these questions.
So if we compare this route versus a billboard route, do we have any idea what a billboard would cost us? Like, will $6,000 go anywhere with a billboard?
I believe
And then like, how do you structure that?
that's a question.
Is it just the city of Zumbrota or I mean, that could be a can of worms if you're opening it up to other businesses to be on there. Don't really have a ton of room.
I believe Ziba was looking for maybe downtown businesses. It's kind of what Ziba's geared towards. But we as an EDA would probably look to advertise the city of Zumbrota rather than the businesses themselves. So
I
that's my
thought it
question.
would kind of be like, how we advertise in that Red Wing magazine today, where we have our banner at the top and then Ziba and businesses would contribute to the,
Right, so what if you get 25 businesses that want in on it? Like, that's just not even
right.
feasible for a billboard.
Well, and I
First
don't
come,
know-
first serve, highest bid,
say
how do you
they
do that?
would-
Because like, we're not a part of Ziba anymore. So like, how do you, like Zumbrota Ford's not part of Ziba, not that they would want to be in on it, but how do you incorporate all businesses then instead of just Ziba? So,
I don't know the answer to that.
yeah.
Or we could wait, like I said, another month. I could be in contact with Brandon, see if it really gets out there, sells it to the businesses themselves, or whatever you think.
I don't think there's a lot of traction for KAL. Is there?
In our area.
You know,
That's kind of what we had.
so I mean, instead of dancing around and putting it out, let's just pass. That's, somebody had to say.
Yeah, I just don't sense a lot of interest either. That's the,
Yeah, I thought we were gonna investigate, which I think you did, the grant potential for some grant money to help with
Right,
that.
yeah.
And that didn't happen, so I think that would be the only way that I'd see us wanting to participate in it, is if there was some grant assistance some way.
So I will make a motion that we decline to participate in the KAAL advertising.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion's passed.
can we have somebody from a billboard company give us ideas of how to generally promote Zumbrota?
We sure can. I'll do a little research on billboards just to see.
Business View Magazine.
So I just got this from Brian like a couple hours ago. And if you look in your packet, you can see a memo from Brian. So he received a call from Alexander Wynn Jones, the managing editor for Business View magazine. And Zumbrota was selected to be featured in the magazine's Business View. And if you remember, he said something about this in our last meeting. In the series, America's Best Managed Cities Under 10,000 Population, Best of 2024, the Minnesota issue. They'll interview, if we do this, this will be an article in this magazine. There's an example of Farmington here, if you'd like to look at that. They'll interview 4 people from the city government, including 1 person from the EDA. They're looking at a half page with up to 4 sponsors. And Brian was very adamant about he will go out and kind of pitch this to some of the businesses in town. So there'll be a half page of 4 sponsors. Readership includes entrepreneurs, business owners, executives, and startups, which with a lot of national exposure. you can see the cost. The cost right up front is roughly $3,000. It's on the second page of his memo. But he's going to look to try to get that covered by businesses in Zumbrota. Some specific businesses, to the point where it wouldn't cost the city anything. I think what he's looking at is from the EDA, let's see here. Should he, I guess, what he's looking for is money up front, $2,950 up front, and then would be reimbursed through his sponsorship that he would go out and look through the city. So it'd be a form of advertisement for the city of Zumbrota in this magazine.
What's the distribution on this, do you know?
Well, this is a Minnesota version, and I believe it's, yeah, like I said, I just got this.
At the bottom of Brian's memo, talks about 840 email and web.
Oh, yeah, it's in bold right there.
Yeah.
840 executives subscribers throughout North America and 40,000 in the Caribbean. So you can see as you continue on in your packet, the silver is the half page. Is kind of what he's looking at for sponsor. Yeah, go ahead. And I mean, if you're familiar with magazines, it'll be very tastefully done and very nice, up-to-date pictures of the city, I would assume.
And you said interviews with city officials?
So interview 4, yeah, city government. Of those 4, one of them would be from this board of EDA they would talk to.
It wouldn't be a full article like this, though. It would just be
Right, and I think somebody from the EDA would interview Brian, from what he said. So we'd have to have a volunteer eventually. So the overall question is, would the EDA be willing to provide monetary contributions if needed? And then if they say yes, if you say yes, excuse me, we will need a volunteer, which I suppose we could find at a later date.
Brian seems committed to go get the money, right? Unless you have somebody chasing it down versus who's going to volunteer.
So the last paragraph says, I will pitch this to some local businesses to see if they're interested. Please discuss if EDA is willing to and able to provide monetary contribution to this effort to defray the costs from potential business partners if needed. I may be able to get 3 or 4 to put in dollars but just in case, I'd like to know if EDA can contribute any dollars. Also, you said that volunteer from EDA as well.
Are you looking it up, Dave? The magazine?
I just wanted to know what they were.
How's it
I'm
look?
checking my Facebook.
How's it look? No, I figured that. How's it look? Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, so this would, just to be clear, this would be a Minnesota version or a Minnesota edition, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
that's what it sounded like.
Because this is all, I mean, this is internet, I mean, this is a bunch of stuff in Canada. Yeah, they've got home builders in Houston, Texas and Alberta. So it's got a big footprint, it looks like.
I wonder if they still distribute it to the 840,000 though. I think it seems worthwhile if Brian's willing to push for it. And it might lead to,
I would agree.
Might
I
lead to
just
something.
Googled, I just searched within the website for Minnesota, and there's a piece on Wilmer, Farmington, Lake Regional Healthcare in Fergus Falls, Dart Transit in Egan, the Brainerd Lakes Airport, that's in the packet.
And we were chosen, so not something we sought, so hopefully they're.
Yeah, he was pretty adamant. So
I don't want to be the naysayer, but being chosen, is that an actual thing, or is that like being picked who's who of high school students in Minnesota and put your name in a book?
Right.
Chosen, by the way, give me some money.
Right. Yeah.
They look like suckers.
I move we support the effort if need be.
Is there a second?
I can second that.
You want to do a dollar amount? Sorry.
Not really. I'd rather just see what Brian can come up with, and if we have to discuss dollars next month, we can.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. Do we want to also select an individual from the EDA? Crickets.
We do that if we do, if it goes forward.
Yeah, this is where you need at least one EDA person.
Goes forward, then we got Bob Wheeler.
I'm not too qualified. I've only been here a short while. What is the timing on this? Do we know?
Yeah, that I don't know either. I couldn't tell you if we have to, if it's next month or 2 or 3 months, but it'd probably be good to have the person to be ready to go, I guess. You'll be one of the people interviewing Brian, and he might get the questions given to you.
So it's not an interview, it's conducting an interview?
Both.
Both.
Interview 4 people from the city government, including 1 EDA person.
It's a television interview.
Yeah.
Yep.
If Brian's got an angle on this that he wants to promote, that might dictate who should be on the EDA
And I
interview.
can ask Brian tomorrow too. Somebody special. If I let somebody know they've volunteered. Yeah.
Okay, UCC building information.
Yeah, we got some good news. I had a meeting with Bob and Sarah on the UCC building. We got the grant to have the architectural drawings done. We just found that out today. So that's $5,000. The architectural drawings from OWA Architects was $3,700. So that's good. That should cover, obviously, all of it. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I just found out today that we got it. If you don't mind, I'll call Jacob and see what his process is. And like we had in our meeting with Bob and Sarah, Sarah was pretty adamant about, we don't really know what a community center will look like, but if we saw the drawings of it, that'd be a start to see what.
And maybe we don't need to decide.
Yeah.
We've got the money, we might as well get the drawings done.
Go from there. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I thought I'd bring that to the EDA, because that's, anytime you get a grant, that's pretty good news.
Could that architecturally, if the city designated the fire hall as kind of a community, there's really nothing architecturally there that would need to be done.
I don't think so, because it's already got the large room.
Yeah, in the kitchen. Okay.
Yeah. And so we'll see if this Jacob needs to come to the city to see the church, or if he can do it remotely, or, yeah. But with that, for some reason, I added the expense sheet with it. just for your knowledge, how much it costs to heat or snow removal and so on. So I guess my question is, do we have to have a vote to approve that money going for the drawings, the grant money as an EDA, or do we not?
Depends on if we can use that money for anything else.
Okay.
If Compeer designated only for this purpose, then I don't know that we need to vote on using it. But if it's for us to use maybe for another purpose, then I think we would have to vote on it.
Yeah, so as of now, unless there's something different, I'll gear that money towards the drawings, unless somebody has any idea.
How to rate the grant for this purpose.
Yeah, it was for this
So
purpose.
I'm assuming that's what it's got to be.
All right.
Okay. New business, election of officers.
Yes, you can see the memo there, the election of officers, current officers, President Lindsay, Vice President Terry, Treasurer Brian, Dave's the Assistant Treasurer, and Bob's a citizen at large.
Do I need to be reapproved? Or, because my term technically ended, do I need to be reapproved for a new term? Do we know? Did we vote you back in for your new term at the end of 2022?
No, because you don't have to get voted back in, it's just if you want to stay, you stay.
Okay.
Is it an appointment, right? Or not? Or is it an appointment?
But once you're initially in, you're in until your terms are ready.
Well, just to start the discussion, I'll make a motion. We move the 2000 slate of officers forward to 2024.
I second that motion.
Any discussion?
Congratulations.
You're doing a good job as president.
Who seconded it?
I did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
That was painless, wasn't it?
I will tell you, there will be a couple of days I will be gone, probably in the fall.
All right.
So, with a college volleyball player.
Take this time.
I can't neglect her now. Restaurant, money for new spot.
Now, this is an idea I want to bring to the EDA. Some of my colleagues through CETA, I think you know that there's a pretty big need for a evening restaurant in Zumbrota, especially one that's open from about, I don't know, 11 to 10 during the day, and then on Sundays it'd be nice. So some of the places have, and this is in Spring Grove, they did what's called a restaurant challenge, and they offered money. After speaking to Kim, we do have money available in our account. I think it was 403, we have some money available. In the past, bringing a restaurant in, giving them money, their current restaurants in Zumbrota didn't get money, and so it was kind of one of those things. But Brian's been pretty adamant about trying to get a restaurant in here, and so one thing you could do is offer money or incentives.
Are you talking downtown restaurant?
Yeah, excuse me, downtown would be a place. And so this is just an idea. This comes from Spring Grove. You can read through it. Well, how do I say this? One of the issues was a hood. And with our last restaurant, we tried to get in, and the hood is expensive. I didn't realize they were so expensive.
That's why we didn't do ours.
Yeah,
Double.
and it's, yeah. And so,
150? 150 maybe, or what?
It went from 64,000 to 130 or something.
Yeah.
so some of these funds could be used for that. So you can see in Spring Grove, for example, they purchased like they had this challenge and it was a 5-year, once you won, it was a 5-year kind of contract so that you wouldn't take the money and then leave in 1 year or so on. So funds attached to physical equipment, which remain property of the EDA for a period of 5 years. And after 5 years, they would become property of the people who own the building. Once equipment was purchased, each piece was added to the award agreement. After 5 years, the agreement was void and the equipment belongs to them, obviously, what we just said. The award was for $15,000 in Spring Grove and also included 1 year of free internet, 1 year of free advertising at the movie theater, and 1 year membership in the Chamber of Commerce and professional assistance as needed. The EDA also provided low interest financing for an additional loan for the project. Like I said, we could take the money if this was a possibility in the future out of a 403 or 404 account. And these are the two possibilities, either a lump sum of $50,000 or $10,000 per year for 5 years, and then have some stipulations in there as well, like such as being open on Sundays, evenings, being downtown, obviously. And being in contact with Diva would be big too.
Okay, so I guess a couple of questions that come to my head. Does it have to be downtown, or why does it have to be downtown? Is there space downtown? That is with, obviously we've run into issues with a couple of different spots downtown that, like, if we're gonna run a restaurant challenge, are we gonna be open to anywhere in Zumbrota? Do we have options? I don't know.
And that's, originally it was kind of like downtown to keep, I wouldn't say keep downtown happy, but keep people down in this part of Zumbrota. There are some spots, kind of. I say that because, like, for example, there was the basement Roxanne's building. But then again, to put a restaurant there is going to take a lot of capital or money. The old bank, but we just had a meeting today with Keller Bartman, and they're talking about that as a future possibility of maybe a building. So yeah, I'm just bringing this to EDA to see what you guys think for the future, to kind of get the word out to possible restaurants. If you know somebody in Zumbrota who's looking, and we don't have to make it a challenge. We could make it towards, like, this person wants to open a restaurant in Zumbrota. Here's a little help as a way to get them to open the place up. But yeah, no, it doesn't have to be downtown, strictly downtown.
I think my opinion is it'd be nice to have a restaurant open downtown at night. We have a couple places people can go, but we got the south end covered. We got the Covered Bridge restaurant out on the highway. But if people come to concerts or anything in the evenings or basically after 2 o'clock downtown, there's not anything other than the Guilty Goose and, well, I suppose the VFW, right? Pizza Platter, the Mexican place is gone now.
That's right, that just closed.
So that's where I wondered if this could be a challenge, that if somebody were to go into where the Mexican place was, or if Bridget's or the coffee mill were to be sold and somebody else wanted to have those expanded, or not expanded hours, but change the hours of some of those establishments to be open on Sundays and be open on the evenings, could those challenged hours be for that? And not just exclusively for, brand new build out, because it is very expensive to do a full build out.
We're never going, it would take a lot for someone to do it. And I don't think $50,000 would even.
Not enough incentive.
Yeah.
If it was 50,000 on top of potential help that we could give them with a loan, a low interest loan, it might.
You're spending $400,000 on a renovation. putting in equipment, doing all that.
Yep.
$50,000 isn't that much.
And so based on that, if somebody were to purchase one of those businesses, then 50,000 as a lump sum would certainly help them with their financing, although 10,000 a year for 5 years can be certainly figured in their cash flow too. But, so I think either way, that would be beneficial to somebody that's looking at starting a new business.
And I'm sure Bridget would, I mean, she keeps saying, someone buy this.
Well,
But then we've lost a breakfast place. You know what I mean? I think Zambrota needs another place. I think it can support it. I think it's just that it needs to be the right thing. And so,
I would agree.
you know, we don't want to lose what we've got, but we also need more. So that's the problem. And so, and, you know, I would, if we can think about doing this, I'd put stipulations on it, like, they have to have a proven track record, like the other ones did, of having good food. Sure. I mean, anybody can open a restaurant, they don't last because, one, the food isn't excellent. Two, they don't know how to, they either know how to run the front of the house or the back of the house, and they don't have the combo of both. And it's a tough business. You gotta have your margins really tight. And, you know, a chef will think they can do it, but they don't understand the front of the house, and so then they have poor service, and then, you know, it goes both ways. So just leaving it open to anybody who thinks they can do it isn't probably a good idea either. It's a lot of hard work and dedication.
I mean, I am not opposed to the idea. I just think, like you said, like just the costs already, like we've hit so many roadblocks with the businesses that we've tried now. The Mexican spot would potentially be a good spot.
I don't think it's
But
big
it's-
enough. It's not big enough to have
A restaurant,
actual you know, like,
right?
yeah, it's just not.
And the building is owned by somebody else, so they'd be leasing the space anyway.
And he'll be.
So
looking for
I don't know how that works.
But, I mean, it needs to be a bigger space to have, potentially to make enough money. At that place, you kind of have to work it yourself, and there's not enough tables to sustain a, you know.
There are very few grants available for restaurants, very few, because there's, just like you said.
I think it would be wise to define what we're looking for when we talk restaurant, you know. Do you want it to be a destination restaurant that's good enough to attract people to Zumbrota for events and shopping and so forth? Or do you just want another place to eat? And I don't think that's necessarily what people are talking about. I think they're talking about some place that people will come to Zumbrota for that purpose. And how you define that and how you stipulate that in some type of a program, I don't know. We'd have to get some examples from somebody else, maybe.
I don't know if it necessarily needs to be downtown, but, you know, I just see all these other communities and places, like, you know, you go in Red Wing and there's all those little restaurants, and it's just so cool, you know. I mean, we would never have that scale of stuff, but.
Yeah.
It's just kind of cool to have that.
I think it would tie a lot of stuff together downtown though. If you had something in the evening, it looks like a ghost town when people drive through. Some evenings, many evenings.
So
I like the idea.
We'll table that and we can.
If we
add
can
some
figure out
specifics to it.
how to put some definition around it, I think it would be helpful. I don't know much about Spring Valley or Spring Grove and what they had or what other things they have to
Yeah, I
offer.
looked up Spring Grove. There's a distillery in Spring Grove. It's bourbon. They make bourbon down there. And they have a IGA, yeah, soda.
I've been there. I've been to that distillery too.
But like you said,
They do a
50
lot of
grand
cute
isn't
things
much.
to do there, like, they have, you know, like, there's Amish things and antiques and.
I don't think they had much for a restaurant exposure there, so.
No, there was a brewery, Fat Pat's. And I think he was awarded the money. But his dad then, I believe, runs the Reds IGA in town.
Mhm,
And so they opened it in, one of the stipulations was a building,
mhm,
filling up the spot.
mhm.
Okay.
I can ask, and I thought Red Wing did something here a while back too. I can ask and see if there's any information.
Right, yeah. So yeah, I'll look more into that, more detailed next meeting.
I think
If you
so.
were to get a restaurant downtown, are you restricted by or limited by the choices available? Is that the problem?
Like for buildings?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's like a couple places. Well,
yeah, I'm sitting there,
It's not another piece of land available that
No.
somebody could build a new building, correct? We don't have any, EDA doesn't have anything else in this. Area.
I think something like the old bank or the space that Rox and Dave have in their building would be potential.
You're gonna build out that building and
Yeah.
it could be done.
Yeah.
The nice thing about the building we bought is that you don't have to fire suppression above because there's no apartments.
Which building?
The one that we just sold, the one on the corner that was,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that could be done. It's just, and that was cheaper than, because we looked at Serendipity building, but the fire suppression was so much
Yeah.
money to protect the apartments above. So. Why did that one bow out? Just because we didn't give them enough money?
I think they wanted,
they wanted a freebie and we were given
yeah, they didn't want,
They wanted like a
yeah.
far more than.
Want a
we were
loan,
given.
they wanted money.
They wanted like $150,000.
Did not want to pay it
grant.
back. So,
Yep. So I will, yeah, I'll put some more information for next meeting on that one.
does it look desperate if you like put something out on our website or our Facebook page or something to,
Well, that's the thing is, what do you
this
put
is
out
what
there?
we're looking, I know, that's why it doesn't,
Because then, like you said, you get something.
I don't know. I know, right?
We need a restaurant, come
Oh. Oh.
You almost have to have a location.
Yeah, you have to
Like,
promote a
we want you here,
location.
but figure it out.
Yeah.
You say, here's our building, this is what we're trying to get here. Versus, hey, come to town and see if you can find something.
on. I also want a winery and a brewery. And then we can get a hotel. We can get, I have lots of dreams.
Okay. Keep that tabled then?
Yep.
On the old business. Change the date of June meeting. Holy buckets, Kurt.
June.
That's Miranda. I didn't know we had meetings in June.
June
June
19th
19th falls
meeting.
on Juneteenth, so that'll be a holiday. The city hall will be closed. Should we just go June 18th? It's a day where you can close the building.
Do you want to do the week before or the week after?
Or do we just not meet in June?
That might be a possibility. So Tuesdays are planning and zoning, so we could do it.
Vote, I would say the week after, because I think the week before is super busy.
That would be June 26th.
But I don't care if we go the night, I don't care if we do a Tuesday night.
I just thought for easing people that already have Wednesdays booked. for us,
Right.
That we should probably
A week.
do a Wednesday.
Yep.
Sure.
Unless anything.
So June 26th.
Would be the date, yep. Are you looking? Or,
It's okay.
That's exciting. June 26th. You need to vote.
Yes. I'll make a motion to the June 28th, 26th
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
I think that was it, wasn't it? No, reports.
Yeah, just real quick, there's you can see I added Nielsen's plan on here. And they just got a variance for a drive-through window. It doesn't specify where the drive-through window will be from the city. They are currently working with the county because their current idea for a drive-up window is not accepted by the county, which is going to be weird because they've done a lot of work over there. But that's not us, that's not the city. So that's just a mock-up. Brian and I have worked with them for such things as parking spots. So yeah, just giving you a heads up with Nielsen's, growth Nielsen's.
So they were given the variance?
Yes,
by the city.
Zoning,
City.
but they still have to go through the county because it's on a county.
that's
road.
actually zone C1A. And there's no drive-through or drive-up windows on C1A, so they had to go through a variance. So we had a public hearing on Tuesday. So yeah, just kind of giving you a heads up on,
Any clue on what's going on with the county then? Any?
because that street, so you know, Second Street, and there's that other one, the Second Street.
First Street and then lies. Second Street goes one way and First Street
So the
goes
Second
the other.
Street closest to Nielsen's.
It's a county.
So, yeah, and so they are saying that they can't turn, the trucks, big, you know, a big pickup truck can't make that turn. And then it will be dangerous because they can't get a 90-degree angle to look, see if anyone's coming.
Right. Yeah, I understood that, but there's no indication of what the county is thinking or,
I haven't heard.
okay.
Brian said that guy's gonna stick with
I stopped to talk to Jason Nielsen, and he said that he's been working with the county, and the county basically said, if you can draw a Prius in there and show that Prius being able to get 90 degrees before it gets into the lane, that he would approve it. So that was a month ago.
Okay.
So they also took the general contractor's pickup in there, and that general contractor's pickup was able to turn and go back to the east without going into the westbound lane.
Okay, good.
So
So that will be a drive-up Caribou.
Might work.
but that's, like I said, that was a month ago, so I would have thought that the county, if that was that simple, the county would have already approved it and would be aware of that, so.
That I've heard, but
Okay,
you never know.
he sounded pretty optimistic, because I guess all I can say then.
Yeah. Well, with all the work they've done, because on the inside, they've
Yeah.
tiled around that window.
It's Caribou.
And they're trying to
And
hire,
must be,
so
you know, something.
they are hiring. Hopefully they got it figured out.
So that's just just like I said, heads up on what's going on downtown.
Cool.
If there's nothing else, we can adjourn. Still need my gavel.